I am so excited to be making this video. So last week, Jack and I went to New Orleans on vacation. We were there for 5 days, and leading up to the trip, I did a lot of research, of course, on like the best places to go, things to do, and it was all super, super helpful. So I decided I would make a video just sharing all of the recommendations that we kind of collected. I do just want to quickly put it out there that if you clicked on this video looking for like drink recommendations or bar recommendations, this is not the place for you, because both my boyfriend and I do not drink alcohol, so that will not be a part of this video, but I'm sure you can go elsewhere for that. But we did eat a lot of food. We're big foodies, so food, if you're here for the food recs, I got you. But first and foremost, where do we stay? We stayed at Adubon. I think that's how you say it. Honestly, I have no idea. I'll put it on the screen because I really don't know how you say it. But Adubon Cottages, which I highly recommend. It's a boutique hotel. It's in the French Quarter, but it's like literally the perfect location because it is in the French Quarter, but it's tucked away and it's hidden. So it's still like very quiet. Like I slept great every night, and it just kind of feels like an oasis in the middle of the French Quarter. And it's a bunch of cottages. We stayed in like this, I think it was probably one of the smallest ones. It was just like a 1-bedroom, but there's quite a few different sized options. It has a pool. It's very small. I don't remember exactly the pricing of it. I believe that it was still like COVID pricing, so it might be more expensive. I don't know. Hotel pricing changes. It's definitely not the cheapest option, but I think it's worth it, is what I'm trying to say there. And it was really, really fun because it was such a smaller place. We met a lot of really cool people there, like our neighbors we were always chatting to. And there's Jeffrey. Jeffrey is an employee. He works there. He is simply the best. He helped us with so many dinner recommendations, and he's just kind of a legend. So if you go there, look for Jeffrey because he is an icon. So now diving into the food piece of things. I have my phone because I just made notes to make sure I don't forget anything, but we ate so much good food, like so much good food. So I'm gonna just kind of talk through it by meal to give my recommendations. So breakfast places, my favorite that we went to was French Toast, which was in the French Quarter. Oh my God, they had these. I'm gonna try to put pictures in this video so that you can see, but they had these like pancake puffs. Truly like one of the best things that I've ever eaten. Like it was so good. I made Jack take a picture of me with them so that I could remember the moment forever because it was so good. If you like pancakes, you need to go there. Jack got the French toast and it was also delicious. So if you're a big French toast person, I mean, obviously that's the name. But that place was incredible. You know, very affordable, like what you'd expect for breakfast food, but really good food. On our last day, we went to a place called Surrey's in the Garden District, and that was also so good. I got this banana pancake. I'll just put a picture. It was quite literally the biggest pancake I've ever seen, but it was delicious. It's a really, really cute spot. They have a lot of like more nutrient dense options as well, because it's also a juice bar, but it also has a lot of that like southern kind of comfort style breakfast foods if you're looking for that. So I think it's a really great mix at that place and just a cute vibe. And then lastly, beignets. So Jeffrey from our hotel recommended we try out Morning Call coffee stand beignets. So we actually went there on our very first day. They were so good. Like I've only ever had Disneyland beignets, which are also delicious. Let me add. It's not in the French Quarter, so that's the one thing, but we took the like streetcar, and it was like, we didn't have cash. So if you take the streetcar, here's a tip, make sure you have cash, because we had to like, they don't give you change. So we ended up paying more than we needed to pay just because we didn't have change, but it's only like a $2 or something like that for the whole day pass. So we took that there, and it's pretty easy. And then we went, and it was so good. And then we actually also, on our last day, we went to Cafe du Monde, however you say it. Clearly I don't speak French. But you know, that's the classic place. And Jeffrey warned us that it's not that good. And he was right. Like honestly, obviously it's still delicious from Cafe du Monde, but Morning Call is absolutely better. So if you go, you know, I would recommend Morning Call very much so over Cafe du Monde. So, and it's a more of a local feel, you know, like that's where locals go. So that's cool. For lunch, dinner options. So first and foremost, po' boys. We actually only went to one po' boy place. It was also recommended to us by Jeffrey, but it was so good. It was called Killer Po' Boys in the French Quarter, and I'm gonna be honest, like, going to New Orleans, I was most excited about the food, but po' boys were just something I was like, oh yeah, I'll try it because I'm there, but I wasn't like excited about it. But this place was so good. It's not your super traditional po' boy. It has like an Asian fusion, so kind of like mixed with like banh mi's kind of a situation. Oh my God though, it was so good. I got the shrimp. Jack and I both got the shrimp. Apparently that's what Jeffrey recommended to us. The shrimp was so flavorful. Like, I don't even like shrimp usually. Like, I never buy shrimp myself. But the way they flavored it, I was like, I need to eat more shrimp. So highly recommend that place. We didn't go to a more traditional po' boy restaurant, so I can't recommend a more traditional place, but Killer Po' Boys, it was delicious. The rest of the places I'm gonna talk about and recommend are more sit down places. We went to all of them for dinner, but most of them have like lunch menus and everything as well. But my favorite probably was Saba. It's on Magazine Street. So we just like Ubered there from the French Quarter. Oh my God. It was the best pita bread I've ever had in my life. Like, I will dream about that forever. And it's such a cute vibe. Like, if you know me, that restaurant is just like such my vibe. It was such good food, a really great experience. I cannot recommend it enough. I think that there's something that like everybody will enjoy there, but definitely just like go, like, you need to try that pita bread if you're in New Orleans. So that was my favorite restaurant. Jack's favorite was a place called Lengua Madre, which was a another restaurant kind of in a, it was, I think, technically in the Garden District. I'm not fully sure, but it was just kind of in the neighborhood. Very easy to miss. Like, we almost walked right, we did walk past it and we were like, where is this place? Because it like said it on the map, but there's like no sign. It's very much locals that go there. Jeffrey recommended it to us, and it is like Mexican food, but it's like fancy Mexican food, right? And it's a tasting menu. So that means that you just show up and, you know, you're able to say if you have any like dietary restrictions or anything like that, but they pretty much just bring out the food. So it's a really cool, fun experience. Like, I'm so happy that we went because I loved the experience of it, but because of the fact that it's a tasting menu, like, it was basically, the main course was duck, and I just don't like duck. So I didn't really eat the main course, and then there was another course that I didn't necessarily love, but the dessert was really good. We had this like tres leches cake, and it was insanely, it had like popcorn with it, so it was like salty and sweet. It was very flavorful. There was these really delicious like corn style of dumplings, I think is what they were called. I don't know, I'm not doing it justice, but I do, you know, regularly change the menu. We were asking them and they say they change it pretty much seasonally, sometimes more frequently than that. So definitely go, you know, check it out if that's what you're into. But if you're not into, like, if you need to be able to pick your food, like if you're a little bit picky, I would not recommend that place. Last, like, two kind of restaurants I want to recommend is first Commander's Palace. So we did go to the famous Commander's Palace. It was a really cool, fun experience. I'm so glad we went. The food really was very delicious. I would highly recommend. You know, I'm not going to talk about it a lot because it's super famous. I know you've heard of it, but it is definitely pricey. I think it was probably our most expensive dinner. And again, we don't drink alcohol, so that's only looking at food. You know, if you're drinking, it's gonna be more, although Jack and I always rationalize ordering really expensive food items with the fact that we're not drinking, so be aware of that. But if Commander's Palace just is a little bit out of your budget, I would also highly recommend a place called Palm and Pine. It's just right outside of the French Quarter, so if you're staying in the French Quarter, you can absolutely walk there, and it was phenomenal. I didn't get very good pictures there because we were in a little bit of a rush, which I'll talk about in a second, but phenomenal. I got the same type of fish at both Commander's Palace and Palm and Pine. It was like a sheep's head. I'd never heard of it before I went, but it was good. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, they were good. They were both good. They were cooked differently, but like, I probably liked it better from Palm and Pine, if we're being completely honest. And it is, you know, it's not cheap, but it's definitely more affordable than Commander's Palace is gonna be. So in terms of desserts, we mostly ordered dessert from the restaurants that we went to, which, by the way, at Commander's Palace, I got the creme brulee, which was good, but I've had way better creme brulees before. But Jack got their like souffle bread pudding, which was phenomenal. If you go there, you should order that. Absolutely. It's one of their like signature dishes and it was incredible. But we did go one afternoon. Jeffrey took us to Abbott's, which is a custard, so like an ice cream, although it's not ice cream. Jeffrey got very annoyed for me calling it ice cream. It's custard, but it's really, really delicious. We went to another ice cream place that was fine, like it was good, but Abbott's was definitely like, if you're looking for like an ice creamy kind of vibe, I would highly recommend Abbott's. Apparently Creole Creamery is a good ice cream spot too, but it was just kind of far out for us. Jack though did get to try some of that ice cream. I think it was at Saba. They had it on their dessert menu, but it was a coconut flavor. And I don't like coconut. It's like the one thing I really just don't like. So I didn't get to try that, but Jack really liked it. So Creole Creamery could be another cool place to check out as well. In terms of things to do, we went on the swamp tour, which is something I was also really excited for. And honestly, it was so fun. Like it's very touristy, like be aware of that. It's only tourists that do that, but who cares? Like it was so worth it. And if you are from New Orleans and you've never been on it, you should do it because it's so fun. When we were there, which is in September, it was actually like not gator season. Apparently, I think they said gator season was like in the spring, winter. I forget, but it wasn't in September. But we still saw so many. Like I went into it being like, oh, I hope we see like one alligator. But no, we saw like so many. There's so many different companies. But we did it through, I think it was like New Orleans. I'll look it up and put it on the screen because I'm forgetting the name, but they were great. I'm sure a lot of them are great, but that's just the one that we did, only one I can speak of. Other things that we did that were really fun, we did an escape room at a place called Clue something. I'll put it on the screen because I don't know how to pronounce it. There's quite a few different escape room games in New Orleans, as there is in like any place that's touristy or like whatever. Like here in San Diego, there's so many escape room places, but we chose this place because there was New Orleans themed rooms, which seemed important to us because like we can do a non-New Orleans themed room here, you know, like we were in New Orleans, we want it to be New Orleans themed, and it was private. We recommend exploring like the French Quarter, just walking around. It's really cool. There's so many fun spots to just kind of wander in. We specifically really enjoyed going to the French market as well. It was kind of funny. I was like, Jack, let's go to this French market thing. And he was like, oh, whatever. Like, I just want to chill. But I was like, let's go. It's going to be fun. And then he loved it. And he got like a harmonica there. And there's food shops. And it's just cool. It's kind of like a flea market vibe. Very fun to wander around. Highly recommend going on Magazine Street and going shopping. So many really cute, like boutique style of stores there. So if you're into that, which I very much am, it was a great time. And they actually had a really cool boys clothing, like men's clothing shop called Vegas that Jack loved. It had really cool, he got like a hat from there, and it had really cool shirts and like shoes. So if you're traveling with a guy, Vegas could be a great option for him. Another thing that I love doing whenever I travel is like checking out local bookstores. So we went to a bunch. My favorite was Octavia Books. They just had such a great selection of like my type of books, and everyone was so nice. It was locally owned. So if you like reading, if you're in New Orleans, highly recommend checking that place out. And then lastly, Sculpture Garden. I forget exactly what it's called, but if it's a part of the New Orleans Museum of Art, but it's actually free. It's run off of donations, and it's really, really cool. I would say like if you're only in New Orleans for like 2 or 3 days, I would say, you know, focus on hanging out in the French Quarter, go on the swamp tour, stuff like that. But if you're there for a longer period of time, it's a really fun place to just like wander around. I want to end this video by just sharing one thing that we probably could have skipped, one thing that you should not miss, and one thing that I wish we would have done that we didn't get to do. So the thing that we probably could have skipped is Arnaud's Jazz Brunch. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed. It wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't a bad experience at all. Like, it was really cool. And if you're really into like jazz brunches, like go and do it. But I had just heard really, really great things about it. I'd been told it was something not to miss. And like, yeah, it was fun, but it was just it was just too expensive. Like, we just did not enjoy it for how much it cost. The food was good, but it wasn't insane. Like, the other breakfast places were honestly better, and that was so much cheaper. So I would say you could probably skip that. We also went to Preservation Hall to listen to some jazz music, and that music was like way better than anything that was at the brunch. So anyways, I would say separate the two. I don't know. It wasn't worth the money, in my opinion, okay? I feel bad saying bad things, but that's the truth. One thing that I think you should not miss, activity-wise, the swamp tour. So fun. And food-wise, I would really say all the food was great, obviously, but I think if you're going to New Orleans, you need to get a beignet and you need to get it from Morning Call Coffee Stand because it was the best. One thing that we wish we would have done is getting a traditional po' boy. And also we had bought tickets to go on like an evening sunset boat cruise along like the Mississippi River. We had heard that it was very touristy, but I just love sunset boat cruises, and so we booked it, but then we ended up missing it because our dinner at Palm and Pine just took longer than we thought. So it was that night that we went and saw the jet, that we went to Preservation Hall instead. And a few of the people that we met said that that was actually probably a better option, but still, I just love a good boat cruise, and so I'm kind of bummed we didn't go on that. But what I will say is everyone said if you go on that, do not eat the food because the food is bad. So yeah, that's why we were getting dinner beforehand, but ended up missing it. So I don't know. Next time, probably want to check that out just because I love a good boat cruise. So anyways, this video was really, 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 really fun for me to film. Thank you for watching and have a great day.